Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us again in this live section. So, we'll really take a look at what is going on in Nigeria. As you can see from what the article is saying, it says insecurity, let's go spiritual, never chief declares. So, they have started saying that because the way things are going now, people don't believe in guns, people don't believe that insecurity is going to end very soon. In fact, many Nigerians have given up on Tinubu in fighting insecurity. So they all believe now that they need to go spiritual. I can recall many times when the DSS officials has been telling us that we need to start defending ourselves. Yes, the DSS said it. DSS director said that we need to start defending ourselves. Even the Katsina governor was also saying that we need to start defending ourselves. Many people are still saying it. If a man like the if a man like the naval chief can say this thing, a man who has served Nigeria for like 25 years or 35 years, if he's able to come out and say, we need to go spiritual on this case, then trust me, we need to start going spiritual to fight insecurity. It shows that they can no longer handle the insecurity. This is a man that has been in the war front. He has seen a lot of battles. And he came out to tell us that we should go spiritual in this case. It shows that Nigerians, the Nigerian government cannot fight insecurity again. In fact, many Nigerians have lost hope in Tinubu fighting insecurity. Before, they were believing that when Buhari was in seat, many people are believing that Buhari is going to be able to end the insecurity because he was an ex-militant. But when Buhari came to office, everything changed. He was not even able to fight the insecurity. In fact, the insecurity got worse. Now they have people have seen that nobody can fight insecurity again. So the chief of naval staff is saying that we need to go spiritual to solve this case because it has gotten out of hand. So this is where it says that, let's read from what the article says. It says spiritual solution is what we need to surmount insecurity in Nigeria, Chief of Naval Staff Ogali said. Now he was saying that we need to start summoning spiritual things because if you check far back, insecurity has eaten deep down into Nigeria, and we've had many people, we've had many armies deployed to a particular community in order to fight insecurity. Still, there is nothing to show forth for it. Insecurity is still topping day by day in Nigeria. In fact, it's now destroying people's properties, taking people's life. So the chief of naval staff has come out to tell Nigerians that it's time for us to go spiritual on this case. It's time for us to summon spiritual solution in order to fight insecurity. So let's really take a look at what the article was saying here. It states that the Chief of Naval Staff, CNS Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, has advocated spiritual solutions to the security challenges bedeviling Nigeria. Ogala spoke on Thursday while inaugurating 3 places of worship at the Navy town Askora, Abuja, as part of activities commemorating the Nigerian Navy at 69. He said the Nigerian Navy recognized the purpose of spiritual upliftment of its personnel, hence they need to pay attention to places of worship for both Christians and Muslims. So reading on, it says that the addressing the challenges of insurgency, terrorism, and other forms of threats required a wholesome approach, of which the spiritual solution was part. Ogala said, we recognize that the challenges of insurgency, terrorism, and other forms of irregular threats that are facing us today are challenges that require a whole of society approach. So while we look for the military solutions, we also believe that the spiritual solution is part of what we need to be able to summon them. Now, you guys heard what he said in this article. The chief of Navy staff is saying that while we are looking for military solutions, we also believe that spiritual solution should also be part of things that is going to solve the insecurity in Nigeria. Yes, because for a man like this that have served Nigeria for so much, for a man that has been in war front fighting insurgency for so long, for him to come out and tell Nigerians that we need to start summoning it in a spiritual way, that's to fight insurgency, just know that it has gotten out of hand and the Nigerian government cannot save us, the police people cannot save us, the army people cannot save us. And that was why you see DSS was saying that we need to start defending ourselves. We need to mobilize. That we should not wait for armies and police to come and save us. For these people to say this thing, this is not the first time I'm hearing it. The DSS have said it, and many other people have been saying it. They say that we should not wait for army or police to defend us. We need to start defending ourselves. So for these people who are upholding, who are in charge of security in this country, to say such a thing, you know that they are no longer trustworthy. Like they are just trying to tell you that it has gotten out of hand. They cannot be able to fight insurgency again. So reading on to this one, it says that, and these places of worship are key to shaping the minds and shaping the characters of not only our personnel but other Nigerians who use it, Ogala concluded. Also speaking at the event, the commander, Naval Unit Abuja, Komdoro Oluseyi Oladepo, said the three newly completed places of worship include the Catholic Church, the Church of Redemption, and the Central Mosque. Oladipo said the worship centers will serve personnel and residents of Navy Town, Admittedly and Lakeview Estate environs, as well as serve as functional naval centers of the Directorate of Naval Chaplain Services, the Directorate of Islamic Affairs. Now you can see what is really going on here. He has already warned us that we should be careful and we should be able to defend ourselves if it even means for us to go into a religious way. If it's for us to start summoning our gods to save us, we need to start doing it. That is what he's trying to tell us here. A whole lot has been happening and the insecurity is becoming too much that many people are now saying that we need to start defending ourselves. So we're not just hearing it from the mouth of one person, but from many people. If you take a look at what was happening here, where the Benue monarch was saying that it's time for the Fulani herdsmen to vacate their farmlands. This was held, they discussed this after the emergency meeting that happened. They said that it's time for Fulani herdsmen to vacate their farmlands. And I can remember when Mazen Kalu used to shout and say, don't sell your lands to Fulani herdsmen. He has warned us that we should never accommodate Fulani herdsmen. And I feel that what is going on in the Lieutenant side today is because of they accommodated the Fulani herdsmen. They brought them as one. Now the Fulani herdsmen have turned against them and is now terrorizing them. So this was what the Benue monarch was saying. He said the council made this demand in a communique issued after an emergency meeting to discuss security concerns, land use and peace building in Idoma. The Idoma Area Tradition Council of Benue State has called on the state government to direct Fulani herdsmen to vacate all farmlands in the state. So reading on here, it says that the council made this demand in a communique issued after an emergency meeting to discuss security concerns, land use and peace building in Idoma. We urge the government to prevail on the Fulani herdsmen to vacate all farmlands in Benue State, the council said. You guys know that Benue State is known for agriculture. Yes, that particular state is known for agriculture. So imagine now that the herdsmen are terrorizing them and disturbing them. How are they not going to be able to cultivate their land? How are they not going to be able to cultivate their crops and sell in the market? This is what insecurity can cause. Insecurity can make cost of food prices to go high in the market because of this singular act. Anyway, guys, I want you guys to just listen to what Katsina governor has to say about insecurity in Nigeria and what he really said is causing insecurity. So, guys, take a look at this,
so
and I'll be right
this
back.
Translate to anything in the real sense?
I can tell you, I agree 200% because I also agree with you. I came from the trenches. I fought successive governments in the past. During the military, I went to detention a few times, fighting for justice, equality. Of course, this time around, where I agree to 100% is that when I came in as a governor, what I did, I looked at the poverty index of the entire northern Nigeria, not only Kaduna State. Don't forget, I was the chairman of the Senate Committee on Banking. I had the data, the statistics from the Development Finance Department of the Central Bank, from the SDGs. I can tell you sitting here, the poverty index we met 2023 when we came in. I have the statistics, I have the data, I have the numbers. Today, I can tell you, things are getting better, but nobody can tell you we can address this problem even in the next 10 years. And I will tell you why. Because I'm a very realistic person. When we came in, we had over 60 to 65% of our people that are completely financially excluded, many in northern part of Nigeria, particularly in Northwest. And because of this problem of insecurity, which I can tell you, largely is an economic issue because of poverty, unemployment. That was the reason why our people can easily be recruited by these bandits. That was the issue of out of school children. When I came in Kaduna, what we met, I can tell you, over 350,000 of our people were out of school when we came in. Today, we're addressing the problem gradually. When I sat down 2 months ago with the vice president of the World Bank, we sat down, we looked at the UNICEF statistics, and I can tell you, out of the 18.2 million of out-of-school children, 7 years ago or 6 years ago, when you look at the figures, they are not as much as 18.2 million as of today. Not were responsible for about 70%. Today, the figure is different. From 2023, I can tell you the figure was about 80% out of school children were domiciled in northern Nigeria. That is the reason why when I look at the figure today, I have seen improvement. I've considered we're heading into the right direction because we're addressing the problem gradually. But this problem did not start 2 years ago. It started many years back because we were docile. We did not approach the issue holistically. We did not sit down as a team, as a group, to look at this issue and address it. We had the opportunity to pass. We didn't do it. That was the reason why in my last interview, I made it clear that we collectively let our people down. But this time around, we had a president who gave us opportunity. He gave us some position, and that was the reason why I called everyone to Kaduna yesterday as a coordinating governor for the Northwest. We did not only talk about politics. We also talk about developmental areas, how we can be able to carry our people along. What are our demands to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? And I can tell you, when he returned from his trip, I will be there to meet him, to tell him, yes, this is some of the demands we need quickly. I can tell you also that, yes, we're happy because of the infrastructural intervention we're having here in the Northwest. If you look at it critically, you will agree with me that a lot of intervention are going on in northwestern part of Nigeria. And simply because we are determined to keep pushing Mr. President to address most of these issues that affect our people. But we cannot do it if we don't sit down as a team collectively. But the issue of poverty, the issue of unemployment, I agree with you. The North really need to sit down and face this reality if we really want to really bring back the glory of our own zone and our region. But I'm happy, everyone, from the ministers, from the senators, House of members, the governors were all on the same page for the first time. And that was the reason why in my last interview, I made it clear. If we want to address, we must be on the same page. Because if you are talking about what are the symptoms and drivers of this insecurity, why is it that we are not really winning a lot of battles when we come to the issue of fighting banditry? I made it clear in my last interview that we cannot win it through kinetic approach, neither through giving people these palliatives. We must look at the drivers and symptoms. What are these drivers and symptoms? We have to address the gap in terms of economic prosperity between our people who are living in the urban area and those in the rural areas. Because when you look at the rural areas of here in Northwest, you agree with me that there is a lot of poverty. We have a lot of deficit in terms of infrastructure, in terms of addressing education, in terms of addressing healthcare, in terms of many other basic issues that we need to address. So really.
So my people, you guys listen to what the governor of Kaduna State has to say about insecurity, saying that the reason why insecurity is growing in Nigeria is because of poverty, that here in the Northwest, that poverty is too much, and that's the reason why people are joining kidnapping and armed robbery, and insecurity is growing in Nigeria. Kidnappers are increasing in numbers on daily basis. That is what the Kaduna State governor is saying. So guys, insecurity has actually caused a lot of things. Like, I'm telling you that insecurity is what is really making our Nigerian economy to go down. to be honest, many people have started complaining that even the Fulani terrorists are also contributing to it. So, guys, I want you guys to take a look and listen to what this man have to say about insecurity in Nigeria, as well as the Fulani terrorists, what they have caused in Nigeria, and it's time to speak up
Allow
now.
me to
So,
use
guys,
my
take a
words,
look at
please.
this.
Yeah,
Let
no,
me
I'm
use
saying
the
this.
words,
You know,
I
this is
beg
a
you.
national
You might be very
television,
careful.
and there are good people in
I
every
am speaking
tribe.
about
That's what I'm saying.
national security. Hold on, please. My brother, this is a national security issue.
Yes.
There is a war on. You want to pretend there's no war.
No,
There's
I'm
a
not
war
pretending.
on.
I'm only saying there are
A lot
good
of
people
you
in every
journalists are
tribe.
part of the problem. You don't want to address the truth. There's a war on. Why are you saying you're not pretending? There's a war on. People are being killed everywhere. You're saying there's no war. What do you mean you're not pretending? You are. You are part of the problem in this country. Allow us to speak the truth so that people will know what's going on. There's a war on. People in the Benue cannot go to farm. People in Plateau cannot stay in their houses. People in Taraba can't. Everywhere there's a war, and you're telling me that we should keep quiet? No, there's a problem. So those who are responsible for the war simply want to turn Nigeria into a settler colonial entity, and that's what's going on. You don't see that. You're seeing the politics. Forget about the politics. There is a real problem in the country. People are not sleeping at night. People, even in daytime, our farmers cannot go to farms. We now have food security problems. Why? The Fulani war across West Africa has finally bettered in Nigeria. And you don't want me to talk about it. Why? Who are you afraid of? Who will hear it and we will die? This is the problem. The country has gone wrong. Because a lot of you keep quiet. I'm aware of this. So please, when we have a problem like this serious national security issue, we must speak to it and not pretend it doesn't exist. It does exist.
All right, Doctor.
It does exist.
All right, Dr. Nonuju. You have given your reasons for the massive defections to the APC. But my concern is this, and a lot of Nigerians have raised these concerns. Now that a lot of people are moving to the APC, like you rightly said, that most people in the South and the Middle Belt would rather vote a Tinubu than vote someone from the Fulani extraction. The question is this: can APC really contain all these, defections into their party? People have raised concerns that there might be an implosion in the APC. Do you see it that way?
There's nothing wrong with implosion. Implosions are historically normal in human situations. When you put too many things inside one container, they could implode when that container can no more bear them. So when you put inside APC people from different ideological backgrounds, implosion becomes inevitable. There's nothing wrong with it. What you will ask yourself is, after the implosion, where do we go to? Are you afraid of implosion? No, don't be afraid of implosion. In most societies, without an implosion, nobody knocks the gong and calls people to come and talk and find out solutions to the crises that have undermined the community. Nigeria currently is at a crossroad. There is a war on, an asymmetrical war, and the government seems very weak about it. People are panicking and people are running, thinking that Tinubu can help. And that's the problem. If other politicians cannot, well, there's nothing wrong for the sake of security thinking that Tinubu will be different from either Atiku or Buhari. I see nothing different in Atiku and Buhari. They're the same 10 and 10 pence. So Tinubu is the only one that's different from them. If you're telling me now, and I'll talk about security situation, that's the problem. The country is in dire straits, and the security architecture looks like it has been Afghanistan. It is right now ineffective. And that's why you're hearing people talk about state police and protocols that will allow the people to be able to protect themselves. We are moving towards that. If the government cannot help, people will resort to self-help. My brother, the security situation is serious and it is real. And this is the problem. We're not talking about it. We're pretentiously talking about it on the political front. There are underplays that are driving this problem in.
Yeah,
and for me, I will advise anybody, go to Tinubu instead of another Fulani politician.
All right. We have spoken to you before on this program, especially on security. You are somebody known for your brutal opinion, which has endeared many persons, and maybe will make you not to have too many friends because you always say it the way you see it, and that's a good thing. And we're talking about political parties, but we are rounding off. But since you mentioned security, let me just, as we crossed home on that. There have been, in fact, there is no more pockets, series of attacks. The Daily Trust, yesterday, if you could lay your hands on it, have a report And I'm sure possibly you don't need the Daily Trust to tell you what we are in right now. I'm asking you this, not just as a political analyst, but as a Nigerian, somebody that has a keen interest in politics. We have been having overrunning of army bases. Even yesterday, an army base was still overrun. Nigerian soldiers are killed right now. And then, I was just discussing with my colleague before you came up to say, what is that audacity that these individuals, these criminals, what do they have? What gives them that confidence that they can give a go at an army base and they are succeeding? Even when some of them are affected and killed and neutralized, they still had it done yesterday. We don't know where is next. What is that audacity that they have? Many persons said, okay, we now have a southerner, somebody who is a big personality that will not pound to any concentration. I'm talking about Tinubu, that he will do what is right. But now we're having overrunning of army bases. Many persons are saying the Minister of Defense should go. But for me, primarily, what is fueling this audacity of these criminals to give a go at an army base, and they have been doing it repeatedly? What do you think is the problem?
One, the military are not united. Two, because of under the Buhari administration, there was a large-scale Afghanization of the Nigerian security services. And when I mean Afghanization, you understand what it is. It's the penetration by political interests into the security services to actually plant soldiers who will do things in line with their own security intentions. And if they want to take over the country, of course, the easiest way is to put their militias into our army, or rather, to have our army give up weapons and give up bases easy to their militias. And that's what's going on. So people are actually, yes, that's why you're seeing some people try to run to Tinubu. But sometimes they might also stop running to Tinubu and start organizing for themselves. I foresee people resorting to self-help. You see the army base. Ask yourself, I've spent it on this program before. Tinubu might have taken over power, but is he in charge security-wise all over the country? I don't think so. There are a lot of infiltrations perpetrated during the Buhari period that Tinubu has not yet been able to undo. You now see a lot of those taken into security services, people who are said to be the radicalized elements from Boko Haram. It is those radicalized elements that are now showing the Boko Haram and all these Islamist fronts, militias, what to do in the country. At the end of the Civil War, Nigeria was 70% Christian, 30% Muslim. But the Muslims have been fighting to try to turn everything upside down. So, and their Muslim politicians are also doing the same thing. So, I tell you, there is an Afghanization of Nigerian security services underway. And that's what I can tell you. I don't believe in all those things that are being done. If it is here, people agitating for peacefully, agitating for different standards, you will see the army come to the east and start arresting people, start arresting Sunday Igboho. How come the army are not strong up north? Don't forget, these same security strategies were employed to undermine President Goodluck Jonathan. And now that the same set of people are not happy with President Tinubu, they are now employing the same strategy to suddenly undermine President Tinubu. That's why I'm telling you that what you're having now is an Afghanization of the security services. So that has been known for a very long time, and I have been very strong on this. Speaking about security, when most people were very afraid to even allow me speak, what happened today is all over the place. What I've been saying for the past 12 years, is it not all over the place? And these were products of hard research findings. I traveled to Mali, I went to Burkina Faso, I went to Cote d'Ivoire, I went to Ghana, I traveled to Yemen, the homeland of the Fulani, and I found out these problems. I presented it to Nigerians and I told them there is a war on to take land from Nigerians, take the land, take over the land, administer over the land, colonize the people who own the land. And that's what I tell you, it is the new version of settler colonialism taking place in Nigeria. Even helped by Buhari administration. Buhari told people to come into the country with guns, How could you let people come through your border with guns? Those people with guns.
To be honest, guys, like I think Buhari is the actual cause of the insecurity in Nigeria. How can you tell people to come into Nigeria with guns, knowing fully well that it is just to people that are coming into the country with guns? The Nigerian law did not legalize them to carry guns, and Buhari allowed them to come into Nigeria with guns. Now take a look at what is really happening in Nigeria. Now take a look at what is really happening in Nigeria. So, guys, the insecurity in Nigeria has gotten many people to even leave their houses. Like, take for instance, in Plateau State, nobody is there again. People have left their houses because of insecurity in the land. Like Plateau State now is like it's now like a desert. This is what happens when you accept strangers into your land and accommodate them. Now everybody is now complaining of the insecurity. So, guys, that's all we have for today. Let me know your thought below. What do you really think about the insecurity in our land, as well as what the Kaduna State governor said, saying that the cause of insecurity in Nigeria is poverty. That in the northwest, people are really suffering, and that is what is causing them to join kidnapping, join armed robbery. So, guys, let me know your thought below. And also, if you know you're new to this channel, please don't forget to click the subscribe button, like and share, and also don't forget to turn on the notification button to be getting all the latest news in this channel. So, guys, thanks for watching.